Recording.
So let's just look at some different things you can work on to kind of like just improve the single strokes and just overall just like technical exercises, right? So we have some accent patterns that I think are really important. Like just imagine quarter notes with the right hand lead. So we're playing 16th notes, right? And we're just accenting quarter notes, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 with the right hand. And then I'll do it with the left hand. And this is really good. It's more about the hand that's not accenting to try to keep that from going like, you know, like getting too high. You don't want that. You want the left hand, when you're doing it with the right hand, so I'm accenting quarter notes with the right hand, I'm trying to keep that left hand the same stroke. It's not a finger stroke, it's just a wrist stroke, but it's a wrist tap. So you can work on taps as well, right? Just taps. And then add that quarter note back in there. And then let's do the and of all the beats, all the quarter notes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and I'm gonna start over. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you could tap like a quarter note just to kind of, or put a metronome on or something. Because if you're not careful, that could sound like 1, 2, 3, right? So you want to really have the emphasis, either a metronome going or some sort of a, you know, emphasis on the downbeat. And then let's do that with the left hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and. Right? And then let's do like all of the uhs. 1 and a 2 and a 3 right? All that kind of stuff would really be cool to work on. Let's talk about some of those other things that I was showing you at the beginning. So like, I think I was doing something like, right? Or you could do 2. Again, it's like the taps and the accents, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I call it the accent tree. So like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm really, essentially what I'm doing is like accenting one side and tapping with the other, right?
Right.
You can even just work on that or work on the other way. And you can mix them up, right? 1, 1. Stuff like that. Finger strokes, right? Try to really, when you're working on your finger strokes, make sure that your arm isn't resting on your leg, because then you're not really dropping the stick and you're having to do all the work. Plus, when you rest your arm on your leg, it like literally pinches your muscle, right? In your arm. So it stops the muscle from being able to move. So get above the surface and have your arm like a good distance from, you know, you want to come above the surface, so you're just dropping the stick, right? And really work on trying to like keep this from going like that, right? Especially with the left hand. You know, just work on your single strokes. Try to find a tempo where you can play that consistently, and then start trying to develop through those speeds, right? The paradiddle thing, right? We were talking about the paradiddle. Just pick like a really slow speed, you know, 30 BPMs, right? Okay, so I'm gonna play the paradiddle. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. So I'm really working on stick height, right? Accent, tap, tap, tap. And as soon as I do my accent, I'm right back to this stick height again. So you don't want to be like, you want to watch out for that and just.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to change subdivisions to 30-second notes. And then I'm going to change to 64th notes. I'm trying to maintain the same stick height as, right? I'm going to do another exercise with quarter notes now. So like, let's speed it up to like 60. So I'm going to do quarter notes. So right, left, right, left. And I'm trying to get that same stick height, right? Always back to this, whatever that is right there, like an inch, whatever, inch and a half. And now I'm going to fill in the paradiddles, okay? So. Okay. I feel like there was one more thing. What was the other thing? Work on all of your rudiments though. Like, your single stroke leads to a good double stroke, which leads to a good paradiddle, and the paradiddle and the double stroke lead to a better single stroke. Like pick different accents when you're playing your 16th notes. Like try the quarter notes first, and then or lead with the left hand with the single strokes. Try to find what the weaknesses are by putting yourself into different situations that you're not going to necessarily do that. You're not going to lead your rolls with the left hand on the drum set, but the more you can try experiment different stuff with the practice pad, because then you're going to create those brain connections that are reinforcing like what you're trying to do, which is just to even have a smooth single stroke. That takes a lot of looking at different things that are not just what I'm doing right now. You would think like, oh, I can just do that and get better at my singles, but it comes from developing finger control. It comes from being able to place accents in different spots. And then double strokes, make sure your double strokes are looking good, I think the double strokes are enhanced by the finger control, right? So if you're not working on finger control, how are you going to expect that second stroke of the double, how is that going to be good if you don't work on developing the finger control, right? So I think that's a big thing for you, is like develop your finger control. I waited forever to start trying to do that, and it was just preventing me from progress. So I know it's the left hand that usually frustrates people, but the more you work on it and just struggle through that, it'll get better, trust me. You can work on unison eighth notes. That way you can kind of like look at what the right hand's doing that the left hand's not doing and try to like copy that motion, right? You're teaching your brain how to make that motion by, the right hand can do it better, of course, because we're right-handed. And then just train the left hand by try to like copy it over. I'm looking at my right hand, I'm looking at my left. I'm trying to see what's different that the left hand's not doing, and I'm making adjustments, you know what I mean? And then try to go back to your drum roll again, and then go to your double stroke roll to kind of test, did that get any better, Then go to your single stroke roll, did that get better? Really try to look at that left wrist too. Make sure that's not happening. Make sure you're not pinching too tight. You want to try to maintain a little bit of a gap. Look at that gap that I'm playing right there. So that's allowing the stick to be free, right? Instead of, if I try to play like this, look at the sound too. It's like dead, right? If I open up that grip though, it not only allows the drumstick to kind of bounce freely, but it also, the tone is going to be way more like pronounced, and like the volume will project, rather than choking down the sound of the drumstick, right? Because the sound of the drumstick is going to influence the sound of the drum, right? Versus, right? That's just from dropping the stick and having it be relaxed, right? Paradiddles, make sure that you're not trying to do those too fast. Make sure that if you can do them, if you're going to do them with good technique, and only do them with good technique to a speed where you can actually do that, right? Don't try, if you're trying to go and develop speed with a paradiddle, but you're training yourself to do them with like, then you're literally gonna train yourself to play paradiddles like that, right? So go back to the drawing board on the paradiddle. Make sure you're working on, this kind of thing with both hands. Another thing that I tell people to do is just drop the stick and just try to feel how the stick wants to bounce. That helps develop a lot of relaxation in your grip, right? Because you're not trying to force it, you're just letting the stick. And that's literally what I'm doing when I'm playing a paradiddle. I'm just letting the stick bounce and controlling the stick too, right? I'm not letting the stick just do what it wants. I'm only letting it do 2 bounces. But the stick wants to bounce a bunch of times. We just need that 2 strokes. But it's mainly like that upstroke that people have a hard time with because lack of finger control, right? There you go.
Cool.
That's good stuff, man.